about 500,000-600,000 people. You know, we don't understand like super votes or lobbying and all this different stuff. And so, but something that is never that has the most power is the people who uphold or the people who pass the laws, the House, the Senate. That's the very most important. And those are the least attended elections.
Because, and this is locally too,
Yeah.
I think the press approaches elections as another celebrity event.
Yeah.
And we look at, and this cracks me up all the time because both papers will editorialize about how we need merit selection for judges. Which cracks me up because anytime you have somebody appointed, we're dealing with the school reform commission. Like, yes, it's so much better to have people appointed. But you as the press, the media, you really don't cover those, judicial candidates, kind of row offices, and then they'll say, people don't care. Like, you're not covering it.
And people don't know.
You're talking about who said what to whom, or who messed up, or what their thing said, or it's like it could be on TMZ. It's just that's the way it's approached. And then they say we shouldn't be able to vote for judges.
When that's the most, oh my God.
Yeah, I mean,
when you have so many judges going to jail, and you basically have judges who, like, I guess because I grew up, my aunt was a public defender for 30 years, so I grew up with a lot of different crazy people in my house. But yeah, so my aunt used to tell her clients, because it's legal, felons can vote in Illinois. She's like, well, you know who they are. So when it's time to vote, and they denied your parole, you should not vote for them. Because I don't like them either. So these are like, you the best person to vote for them. You've seen them 10 times this month, but you should know who they are, right? And that's another thing. It's like having that type of transparency. Like if you continue to take the vote away from the people who are the captive audience of the judges, right? Like if you continue to say that felons can't vote, well, who better to vote for a judge than a felon? Like this. I remember you locked me away for a long time.
And I didn't do anything.
Right, I didn't even do anything. Like this. Click, check, no, right? But instead we keep isolating the population in such a way that you also can't vote. Like the destructuring of the Voting Act happened in such silence. For one, it happened the same day that the Marriage Act was passed. Let's be very clear about politics, right? So everybody's like, yay, marriage is fine, yeah. And I was on my Facebook page and I said, well, I hope it's not 2 black gay people because then they can't vote, but they can get married, yay. And then people were like, that's terrible. They just took a whole section of the act out. They didn't take like a little bit out. They took all section 3. They were like,
we didn't need it.
Right, and I mean, and when you read what I don't know why he writing, but I have no idea why he's in there. Every time he opens his mouth, I just feel like a little smirk dies somewhere. Oh God, it's just, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Yeah, I wanted to say, I like analyze it from a class perspective, which candidates are better for the working class. And I have 2 words: Sarah Palin. She was a woman. She still is, I guess. Certainly a traitor to womanhood. Maggie Thatcher over in Britain. There were 2 women that were just Maggie Thatcher was disastrous. Sarah Palin could have been disastrous, and I think she still is. She's still spewing her hate and organizing people their hate behind her and helping to organize the hate behind that Donald Trump is organizing. In terms of, I don't care a lot for Hillary. Her foreign policy stinks. I think she has been influenced by Bernie in a good way. And I suppose, if she gets the nomination, I will vote for her because I want to have some hope that the Supreme Court isn't going to be a bunch of batshit crazy, reactionary, religious people, and that she will protect a woman's right to choose, which I think, and I think she might have some feeling for women, like equal pay for equal work, maternity leave, that kind of thing. But I think we really have to keep an eye on her foreign policy with her links to Wall Street, And we should make her presidency as hard for her as the ultra-right has made it for Barack Obama. And by the way, I hope that the people in Chicago, I hope they're demonstrating in his rally, but I hope there are people outside leafleting. Good, because I think,
They canceled Trump rally.
oh, they did.
Really?
Oh.
Why? Too afraid of.
Oh.
Well, let's still give them a round of applause for protesting.
Yeah.
They did have a lot of protesters outside of the rally. As you can see from the footage before, protesters are met with they're not met very well at his rally, both his security and his supporters. But thank you, Ben, for that question. And next we have, and thank you, panelists, for responding. We have, I believe, Ken, and then Walter Sue. Ken.
Hold on. So, starting off in about in about 1967, our understanding is that the University of Pennsylvania began doing studies on the Philadelphia school system, and year for year, apparently and it's a little booklet, 5x8s or so. Year for year, they started cutting back on the funding in the Philadelphia school system, starting off around that time. By 1969, 1970, 1971, University of Penn was studying the cutbacks. What we really need to know is, what is the massive women's view of that cutback, starting off then and moving through this charter school piece? Because charter schools didn't exist in 70, 69, and some people were doing strange things then.
When are you going?
Start off with 1967, 68. By 70, the University of Penn was studying the school system every year and publishing as the cutbacks were going
I
through.
don't know. I was in 8th grade, but I haven't really studied the history of the school district. I'm looking. I mean, I came into the
Hold on,
district
you can
in
hear it.
'94, and things were difficult then. And the district's always had even with women in charge, it's always had really like top-down, punitive structure between administration and teachers and PFC members. But what happened, in 01 with the state takeover and the appointment of the SRC and then bringing in a Vallis, and again, Carol and I talk about this, like, when it was happening, we knew it was bad. But we didn't know until we got to a certain point and looked back, when Vallis sold off 21st and Parkwood.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
of all the things that just gets me so deeply. And then, as you study the corporate movement, you realize that that's one of the hallmarks of this privatization is selling off public assets. Not just in education. The mayor tried to sell the gas works, et cetera, and all the artwork that was in schools, particularly Wilson Middle School, just came in. Nobody knew. It was over Christmas vacation. The principals didn't even know. Just spirited away all that artwork, and only by a miracle, about 2 years ago, that the SRC voted not to sell it. So that was just horrible. It was 21st Street. So it's like so much change. One, it was happening all around us. But you're a full-time teacher. When you look back on the privatization, the selling off of the public assets, it's been a really very difficult 15 years, and with no signs of abating anytime soon.
And it's all connected to the RAND report. The RAND report that came out, I think in 1991, 1992, that basically said the next horizon of investing was in education. That there was a report. The problem is that it affected people who are working with kids every day. So the only person that probably paid attention to that report are the people who it was for, who was for investors, right? So then all of a sudden, instead of having 5 or 6 book companies that you would choose from every year, now you have one. Instead of having 10 or 12 or 15 different testing companies, you have one. The same thing has happened also in performing. Like, I'm a union actor, and I literally, probably, my checks come from the same 2 companies, even though I'm on 3 different TV channels. So, and the companies also have acronyms, and if you don't use the correct acronym, you don't get your unemployment. So if I call New York and I say, hey, I'm not working on, Breakable Kimmy Schmidt ended, blah, 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 the lady will literally tell me what acronym is on your check. And I said, well, it's NBC Entertainment.
Wow.
What is the code under NBC Entertainment? I'm like, a JCV LLC. Yes, that's what I have to put down. Because they will reject your unemployment claim if I put NBC Entertainment. So it's not just, it's happening like all over. And it's happening in unions like all over. So even being a performing arts and theater, half the shows you guys pay $80 or $100 to see at Kimmel Center are non-union shows. The problem is, they don't have to tell you it's a non-union show. So you're paying $80. The people on that stage are probably getting $600 a week, if that. Some of them are paying for their own hotel. And right now, those shows are going straight from Broadway to a non-union contract. So if you, like, we just had a big thing with Actors Equity Association, the theaters union, to basically post when those shows were coming to town, so people could know. I think if people knew, they would not go see them. They'd be like, oh, well, I'm not going to support that. Because if you don't have a union behind you on theater and you're doing Lion King, let's talk about it. So Lion King is very dangerous to people. Now, what they've been doing in Broadway is they've been having a direct link to the album Ailey Dancers. They pull those young dancers fresh from school, give them a contract, make them sign their life away. So you sign a big stack of paper saying you're not going to sue Disney if something happens to you. You're not going to do this. The costumes are dangerous. The costumes hurt people. They injure people. That's why I have friends who've been in that show who have had several worker comp cases while they were in the show. Because the bones of